Hey everyone, welcome in. It's your February episode of Mammoth Monthly, and I'm your host, Catherine Bogart. The Mammoth may only have 4 games in February, but we have a jam-packed episode for you. Milano-Cortina 2026 is just days away. The Mammoth will have 4 players representing their home country in Italy and competing for the highest honor in ice hockey on the international stage. February is Black History Month, and the Mammoth held their annual Black History Month game and have initiatives going on throughout the month. We'll also check in with broadcaster Nick Olczyk about the success Utah has had in the first month of 2026. Let's kick off today's episode talking about the Olympic Winter Games. Mammoth captain Clayton Keller is going to his first Olympic Winter Games as a member of Team USA. Keller has represented the United States of America at multiple different levels on the international stage. He's gone to 3 men's world championships, 1 world juniors championship, and 2 under-18 men's world championships. Keller has won gold at all 3 of those levels. He most recently captained USA's team that brought home its first gold medal in 92 years at the 2025 Men's World Championship. Keller found out he was going to his first Winter Olympics before practice on December 30th, and he discussed the excitement he had and celebrating with his teammates after he found out the good news.
I was actually in the locker room this morning, and Bill came in and said, kind of check your phone. I had 2 missed calls from Bill Guerin, so I quickly called him back, and we actually FaceTimed, and obviously super exciting. I didn't know what to say at first, just a super special feeling, something that you dream of, and for it to actually happen, it's amazing.
When you were a little kid watching previous Olympic teams, playing for the national team yourself, what was the hope about making the Olympic team one day?
Yeah, I think I always had that goal and dream, and it was something that I wanted to achieve, and I truly did believe it, even from a young age, even just the NHL and looking up to those guys, it was just a deep belief in myself that, I could get there one day, with a lot of work and a lot of people in my life that sacrificed to get me to where I'm at today.
This will be your 7th time playing for a USA hockey national team. When you put that sweater on and you're representing your country on the international stage, what is the feelings that you have?
Yeah, there's honestly no better feeling. Like you said, I've been able to represent, USA before at, the U.S. program, the, U18s, World Juniors, World Championships, and, I'm sure this will be a whole different level and, just so exciting. And I've got a goal at the U18, the U20, the World Championship, so it'll be nice to finish this one off too.
You have just over a month before you're heading over to Italy to participate in the Winter Olympic Games. What are the preparations that go into this next month to make sure you're ready to play on that national stage and be a part of Team USA?
Yeah, I think just, continuing to, do what I do every single day. We have obviously a big, schedule here and a lot of games that are, very important as well. So I think just, focusing on that and, when the time comes, then, your focus will shift, obviously. But, I think I'm in, great shape and, body feels good, everything like that. So just taking it day by day.
You'll have a couple of your Mammoth teammates over in Milan-Cortina as well. What do you expect when you guys see each other on different teams on this international stage?
Yeah, it's always a little different, but, it's always nice to, see someone you play with and, whether it's, texting them with them or seeing them wherever it may be. But, yeah, it's super cool to have, other guys there and to, share that experience a little bit. I guess it's different, but, you're still there kind of doing the same thing.
Defenseman Olli Määttä is going to his 2nd Winter Olympics as a member of Finland's national team. Määttä won a bronze medal at the 2014 Olympic Winter Games, which was the last time NHL players did participate in this event. Määttä has represented his home country of Finland multiple times and also won a silver medal at the 2021 Men's World Championship. After a really exciting Four Nations face-off last year, Määttä is so excited for the level of competition at this year's Olympic Winter Games.
Well, I think got a little taste of it last spring with the Four Nations. How exciting those games are! I think it's some of the most exciting hockey I've played, and I can't wait for the Olympics. It's going to be even better. You got more nations, more games. That was definitely cool. This is going to be definitely going to be different, and but still, it's going to be great.
Where were you when you found out that you had made this Olympic team?
You know, I was on a Christmas vacation with my family, so it was cool. We were having breakfast. What
were the conversations that they had when you got the call and found out?
They were excited, obviously. I think everybody's just happy to hear that, as am I. It's always a privilege, and I think the more hockey you can play, the better. It's such a fun game, and when it goes to games like that, like I said before, like the Four Nations was an amazing experience playing against some of the best teams there is, and now we can do it again. So it's great.
You'll have to put your club allegiance aside, and you'll face some of your Mammoth teammates over in Milano-Cortina 2026. What's the level of intensity that you expect when you do see those players on the ice on the other side?
Well, it's the same as always. It really, when you're in the game, you're playing against them. You're playing the same way. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. You obviously played plenty of my old teammates and my friends over the past years, and it really doesn't change. When you're on the ice, you're trying to win. Off the ice, it's different. So it doesn't change anything.
For JJ Peterka will represent Germany at the Winter Olympics. He's represented his home country at various different levels as well. He's been to 3 men's world championships and 2 world junior championships. Peterka was also a member of Germany's silver medal appearance team at the 2023 Men's Worlds, and it was the first medal finished for Germany in 70 years. Peterka found out he was going to his first Olympic Winter Games when his coach and GM called him to reveal he had made the team. Peterka discussed the significance of this moment as he dreamed about playing in the Olympics for Germany growing up in Munich.
When you were a young hockey player in Munich, dreaming about the Olympics, what were those dreams you had?
I think just like putting the jersey on, seeing like all the atmosphere, also watching other sports in the village, and I feel just like experiencing all that Olympic feeling.
When it comes to this Olympic team, there's many players that you're quite familiar with, whether it's at World Championships or playing in Germany before. How will that familiarity help you all gain chemistry quickly going into this tournament?
Well, I think you can always see it like World Championships, how easy it is to get chemistry with line mates, with new teammates. So I think just super exciting, and super excited to see like all the guys I haven't played with in a long time, and can't wait.
Who is a player on this team that you haven't played with yet that you're looking forward to playing with?
Definitely Draisaitl. Only played against him. We somehow always missed each other at the World Championships. So super excited to play with him for once.
What should everyone expect out of the German Olympic team at this year's tournament?
I think that we're not afraid to make plays, that we don't want to hide anywhere. I think we want to play our game. We want to play pace, and we want to make it a tough game also for the big nations.
The countdown is on, less than a month away. What are you doing over this next stretch, besides playing for your NHL team, but to prepare for the Winter Olympic Games?
That's a good question. I think just going with the flow right now. Still so many games left before that. So I guess just living in the moment, enjoying the games here, and then can't wait for the Olympic stage.
To celebrate Black History Month, the Mammoth held their Black History Month game on February 2nd against the Vancouver Canucks. It was a really fun night, and members of the Utah Black Chamber of Commerce were on the bench for warm-ups and then had a chance to interact with fans and attendees of the game about their organization. Let's learn more about the Utah Black Chamber of Commerce from its president and CEO, Dr. Sidni Lloyd-Shorter.
I am Dr. Sidni Lloyd-Shorter, the president and CEO of the Utah Black Chamber of Commerce. The mission of the chamber is to ensure that all businesses are vital to the economic ecosystem and to really be those contributors to the economics of Utah and beyond. There's a reason why Utah is or has the #1 economy in the country, and we want to make sure that all businesses have the opportunity to positively impact that. The focus isn't just on Black businesses, as I've said, that this is really, our work is really an economic thesis. And although many of the issues that we address are those that are experienced by by our members of the Black community. And so our work really is focused on addressing the high cost of money, access to affordable capital, true opportunities where they can truly compete and perform. And so much of our work is focused on that, building opportunities or building relationships with those that have the capacity to really learn and understand and know that our businesses can perform. They really do the work. They put the investment behind what's really needed to be successful. And our goal and our job is really to identify those opportunities, identify resources, and also do the work of helping them build in areas that is needed for growth. One of the things we talk about is that we are here, we do exist. You can find us on the Utah Black Chamber website. The nomenclature and the URL is the name of the chamber. It's www.utahblackchamber.com. But what you will see there are our partners. You will see programs that we deploy ourselves. One is the Financial Capacity Program. And we've had some great success with entrepreneurs coming out of that program. Then we have a program called the Be a CEO, where we work with 12 to 18-year-olds. They come to us with an idea for a business. And when they leave that program in 12 weeks, they have a viable business. We have many youth entrepreneurs who have gone through that program who are truly experiencing success. The economic ecosystem requires diversity because it's not a monolith. If everyone was like me, or if everyone was like you, it would be stagnant. And that is not what makes a system move and flow. So diversity is really important for it to move and for everyone to have an opportunity to be successful. This initiative that SEG has started is important because all businesses need the opportunity to be exposed and elevated for their businesses to work. So for SEG to take on a part of the responsibility to really help with that exposure and elevate is a major way to contribute to the economic ecosystem, and I feel that it's really important.
If you're interested in becoming a member of the Utah Black Chamber of Commerce or learning more, visit utahblackchamber.com. The Mammoth are continuing their celebrations of Black History Month throughout February. There's more information on the Black Book, the Utah Mammoth Bold Award, and more on utahmammoth.com and the team's social media channels. It was a busy start to 2026 for the Mammoth as Utah had 15 games in 31 days. The Mammoth faced tough opponents, had a season-long 7-game homestand, and picked up valuable points in a playoff race. Let's bring back in Nick Olczyk. Nick, welcome back to Mammoth Monthly. We're always happy to have you breaking down everything Mammoth for us, especially when it comes to the stuff on the ice. So welcome back to your 3rd episode.
CB, the feeling is very much mutual. Great to be here, and I was extra excited for this episode because of all of the unreal things that we have to talk about because what the boys have been doing on the ice.
2026 is off to a hot start for the Mammoth.
The year of the Mammoth.
The year of the Mammoth. Forget the year of, I believe it's the horse this year, but it's the year of the Mammoth. The Mammoth in January are 10-2-1 at the time of our taping. We are here in North Carolina. They're about to take on the Hurricanes for the first time this season. But something that really stands out is the success of the homestand. Utah went 6-0-1, an incredible run in front of the best fans at the Delta Center. What stood out about the success and sustained success at home?
I think before we dive into why it was great, I think there was a lot of expectation going into that homestand. Going into game one against the Ottawa Senators, the Utah Mammoth had played the most road games of any other team in the National Hockey League. So there's one side of the coin. And then the other side, obviously, being that they've played the fewest home games. And there is added pressure playing at home, no doubt. You get the oohs and the ahs of Mammoth Nation being all in, as they always are, creating a second-to-none type of atmosphere at the Delta Center. But that stretch in particular with the teams that they were playing, you think about some of those teams. It was the Ottawa Senators. Of course, it ended with that unbelievable win against the Philadelphia Flyers, but you had the St. Louis Blues in that second game. They may not be having the season that they want, but always a really tough opponent. The Toronto Maple Leafs, the Dallas Stars. I mean, the Leafs can score with the best of them, though they don't have Mitch Marner this year. Then the Dallas Stars, that's a team that is a bona fide Stanley Cup contender. And the culmination of that last game against the Flyers, that's the most dramatic game in franchise history, no question. Not just the best defensive play. And I think that Nick Schmaltz strip steal and go the other way, barring a Stanley Cup here in Utah, I think that, for me, will go down as the play of the season. Because 9 other players on the ice thought that the game was iced. They thought it was over. And as Garnet Hathaway was waiting for that puck to settle down on his stick, it's the old stick lift. And then a couple of blocks from Keller, then McBain, and then, of course, the 6-on-5 unbelievable goal for the first time in franchise history from the captain. And, of course, there was only going to be one guy to win it in overtime. So it just the magnitude, the expectation of going into that homestand, knowing that that was going to be a big stretch for this team, and to come out of it with 13 of a possible 14 points was massive. And, of course, it would have ended with the type of drama that we saw in that game against the Flyers. But I really do think is that when we look back, if the Mammoth do make the playoffs this season, which they have put themselves in an unbelievable spot to do, we will all look back on that 7-game homestand as the defining mark that really punched their ticket into the postseason. There's still a lot of hockey left to play, no question. But when you look at seminal moments in a year, I think that homestand will be one of those.
Big credit to Schmaltz, too, because he stepped up. With Logan Cooley's injury, he's moved to center. That's so much more responsibility, both sides of the puck, winning faceoffs. It's a position he hasn't played in years, but he's excelling, and he's constantly getting compliments about that.
And you mentioned the responsibility part of it, CB. I think that's a great point, because for some of our newer fans, just to break it down in the defensive zone, you know, the defenseman, you're there to cover the net front and to go into the corners. Really, the push and pull and the main areas that a defenseman would cover is going from corner to corner to the net front. Sometimes they'll go out a little bit higher, but mainly that's the wingers. And then if you're a winger in your D zone, the left winger, you're charged with covering the other team's right defenseman. If you're the right winger, you're charged with covering the other team's left defenseman. Those are the guys that where they go, you go. Now, without getting into the weeds too much in terms of switches and a hybrid type of defense, the rule of thumb is that a winger, you cover the defenseman. Now, we get to the center ice position, which is the most demanding of the 3 forward positions. As you had mentioned, you got to go corner to the net front, and then your job isn't done there. You got to go the other way 200 feet and try and create offense. So that's why the impact and the responsibility is so much more when you are playing up the middle. And I think that aids the way that Nick Schmaltz likes to play the game, because when you are in the middle, you're going to have more puck touches. The puck is going to be on your stick more, and Nick Schmaltz is the kind of guy that the team is usually in a good spot when the rock is on his blade because of the plays that he can make and the fact that he can draw defenders to him and then be able to make passes through traffic, through layers, and set up his teammates in all the open space and behind. So I have just thought for every goal, for every assist that number 8 has come through with this season, since moving to the center ice position because of the injury to Logan Cooley, I will go and find you 4 or 5 immaculate defensive plays that he's made. There's been a real desire to play the full 200-foot game.
When it comes to Schmaltz, he's just one of plenty of players who are scoring. There's been a lot of scoring from up and down the line, of defensemen getting involved. And something that stands out is there's 7 current players on this roster who have over 10 goals. That shows how this isn't just relying on 1 or 2 players. The whole group is buying in. When you see players like Carconi and Krause in that mix, What does that say about the development of this team's offensive game?
Offense will come and go. I think we've seen that in stretches this year where there's been some dry spells. They haven't been prolonged, and the reason why they haven't been prolonged is because if the top line of Schmaltz, Keller, and Krause, or what it was earlier in the year with Peterka on that line, if they're having a tough night or they're having a tough stretch, no different than any of us. You wake up, you spill your coffee, it ends up being a rough day. Okay, well, when you wake up the next day, can it be a better day? Yeah, it can, but during that day where you did spill your coffee, are there going to be people at work that got to pick up the slack and they got to help you out a little bit? Yeah, as you're going to do for them. I don't think it's any different in the hockey world where if the top offensive guys are struggling, that's where you need to have that secondary scoring from a guy like a Lawson Krause when he was playing a little bit lower in the lineup, or a Michael Carcone who has proven that whether he's on the second power play unit, whether he's in the top six or the bottom six, he is more than capable of providing that necessary, important secondary offense when there is a tough stretch for the big boys. And I think the next part of that too, CB, is how great the defensemen have been. Like, the defensemen are so crucial. If you want to win in the National Hockey League, if you want to win on a consistent basis, you have to have your D involved in the offense. And Mikhail Sergachev, of course, leading the way in terms of offense from the back end. Got to give a boatload of credit as well to Nate Schmidt, who has come in and fit like a glove to this roster on and off the ice. I think maybe while the points haven't been amongst the most of the D, I think Nick DeSimone, since coming into the lineup, has played so well that you just can't take him out. So as a conglomeration, that's my word of the day. I just discovered what that meant in the old Webster, the Merriam-Webster earlier today. The conglomeration of Utah's defense and all the points that they've produced, it's the sixth most highest percentage of offense from a D-corps in the entire league. And when you look at all of Utah's offensive goals from the forwards, from the D, when you're getting nearly 30% of your offense from the back end, that is a huge number. And when you can be among the elite teams in that category, it not only shows that the D are doing their work, but also give credit to the forwards as well for getting at the net front, taking away the goalie's eyes and trying to make their life a little bit more difficult.
Something that's to note about success offensively too is when you have it coming from different sources, it takes pressure off of everyone else. And we constantly hear when we have the five skaters out there, we want them to play as a unit. We want them to be connected. And we want each new line or D pairing to continue the previous work. And we've seen the Mammoth develop that side of their game. And by having these consistent contributions from up and down the lineup, no one's feeling the pressure. No one's gripping their stick too tight. And that turns into more calmness in games, calmness in close games, the belief to win. And all of these things are linked, which have led to great success. Already 10 wins in January. That's a huge number for this team. And as you mentioned before, Nick, these are against really tight opponents. Currently, on Wednesday, January 28th, the Mammoth have outscored their opponents 48-30 this month. That is a culmination of hard work. Besides the offensive contributions, the defensive side of the game, 30 goals against with some of these top offenses that they're facing. What have you seen about the team's commitment on the other side?
Oh, I love the fact that you mentioned the goal differential. Because I'm a firm believer is that if you can be, and talking to some people, is that if you can be at a plus 15 or more in terms of your goal differential, you have an unbelievable opportunity and chance at making the playoffs. And for those of our newer fans, goal differential that is considered a stat at 5-on-5. How many more goals you score comparatively to the goals that you give up, meaning that the Mammoth have scored 22 more goals than they have given up at 5-on-5 so far to this point in the season. And you look at the other teams that they're battling with for a playoff spot, the Seattle Kraken, the San Jose Sharks, the LA Kings, and Nashville Predators. Those teams are way in the deep red in terms of, some are down to the negative 20s, a 40-goal swing. So it's not just keeping pucks out of your net and trying to score a lot, but it's just the timeliness of their scoring as well. And then you look at the schedule, it's going to be tough as we head towards the Olympic break. But the identity of which this team is playing with right now, and identity is a word that's as cliche as any word in the hockey dictionary. But for me, that means that each line has their identity and they fit into the team identity, which is from your top six, you're going to get goals, you're going to get offense. And the bottom six, you're going to be able to rely on them to have some positive shifts, to bring some physicality, to be able to kill penalties. And like we talked about earlier, come through with some secondary offense, which is what you need. All of that playing within the identity of the team being, let's play a smart brand of hockey. And by smart, when the puck's on your stick, you're aware of the time on the clock, you're aware of the score, and you're aware of who is on the ice for the opponent. If you got their top line and you're up by 1 and there's 2 minutes to go in the second period and there's space in front of you to make a play, sometimes you're better off to just dump that puck in deep, kill the clock, and then take that 1-goal lead into the third period as opposed to trying to dipsy-do, dangle your way in, possibly turn it over, and then it goes into a tie game and maybe the momentum completely switches. So to me, it has been more clarity in the decision-making. And when you're clear as a hockey player, that's where the confidence comes from. I think that's why the recent stretch has been so strong lately.
The Olympics, the Olympic break. Most of the players will have some time to decompress, to rest. And that's so important going into this final stretch of the regular season in this playoff push. However, 4 players will be representing their home countries at the Olympics. We've already heard from them on this episode about what this means to them, where they were when they found out, who they talked to about this experience. But when it comes to the Olympics, Nick, 12 years. It's been 12 years since NHL players were representing their home countries in a best-on-best tournament on this stage. The Olympics are the pinnacle of ice hockey. When it comes to the level of compete and talent that you're expecting to see here in 2026, what should fans look out for?
You should look out for the best hockey you've ever seen. I firmly believe is that it is a culmination of not just the caliber of players, which there will be the best players that wear skates that are walking or skating on planet Earth, but also the fact that there's been such a long buildup. I love the fact that you brought up that it's been a dozen years since National Hockey League players have been at the Olympics. And I mean, you even think back to the 70s and 80s. My dad actually represented the United States at the 1984 Olympics, the team after the Miracle on Ice team. And back then, it was all amateurs. For the Americans, it was only amateur players, college and junior players. And then, of course, there was a stretch for National Hockey Leaguers there. And I'm just so happy for the players that they were able to strike a deal in the latest collective bargaining agreement between the Players Association and the NHL owners that they could go represent their countries. Because, look, these guys, they love playing in the best league in the world, which is the National Hockey League. They love an opportunity to win a Stanley Cup. That's what every kid dreams about. But I think when you're growing up and you're in your country, whether it's the United States, Canada, Slovakia, Czechia, Germany, whatever it is, Finland, there is a huge part of you that wants to represent your country because it's so much bigger than you. It's so much bigger than the club team you're playing for. Now all of a sudden you're playing for everybody that looks like you, talks like you, eats like you do, breathes like you do. And so the pride that comes with that is something that is so immense that I can't even put into the words. And I'm sure some of the guys even had a hard time in doing so. So especially pumped for Clayton Keller, considering the fact that he missed out at the Four Nations face-off, and the fact that he's been representing the United States since he was 16 years old at multiple World Junior Championships. He helped the United States win their first World Championship this last summer in 92 years, of which he was the captain, by the way, on that team. Great to see JJ Peterka continuing to represent Germany. I think they have a chance to do some things. And speaking of a chance to make some noise, I think Czechia could be one of those teams, of course, with the great year Karel Vejmelka's had, but you look at some of the other players on their roster, they are going to be a very tough out. And Olli Määttä, you know, those Finns, they are a tough game no matter what the age group is, no matter what the stage is. And so I'm just overall so excited for these Mammoth players to get a chance to represent their countries first and foremost. And selfishly, to be able to sit down and watch these games, it is going to be some of the best hockey you've ever seen. So if you've never seen hockey at the Olympics, if you want to give it a watch and you're interested in it, just watch. Because I guarantee if you sit down and watch 5 periods of a tournament, you're going to want to watch the next 5 games considering the competitive level that there will be at the grandest stage of them all at the Olympic Games here coming up soon.
We cannot wait to not only watch the Mammoth players represent, but to resume the regular season on the other side of the Olympic break. Milano-Cortina 2026 will be an incredible event, and we will catch up with you following the Olympic break and see what's going on with the Mammoth when Nikki O joins us next month for the March edition of Mammoth Monthly. Nick, as always, thank you for your expertise and explaining everything going on with the Mammoth on the ice.
Tusks up.
It has already been a wild start to 2026, and we are so happy to recap some of it and preview what's ahead here on Mammoth Monthly. A big shout out to our partners here in the podcasting world, Mammoth Daily and Nashcast, two amazing podcasts giving you even more coverage of your favorite NHL team. We'll see you in March with coverage of what happened in the Olympic Winter Games, the upcoming NHL trade deadline, and more. Thanks for tuning in to Mammoth Monthly. We'll see you next time.